Okay, what we're going to look at here is a long lever bridge, and we'll look at a few progressions as well. But this is one exercise that I feel is extremely valuable across the board, whether it's just for general strength work, if it's for field athletes, it's for runners. There's a lot of benefits to doing this exercise and learning how to do it properly. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think the big thing with this one is some folks will get into the positions, they'll look like they're in the correct position, but they're not really engaging the hamstrings, the posterior chain like they should be doing. Oftentimes I'll prescribe or aim to work towards 30 seconds for this one. And in some cases 30 seconds, if done correctly, should be very challenging. It might not be doable initially. You might have to work up to that. But if we're doing this correctly, it shouldn't be something where you kind of go after a set of 30 seconds. When I think I feel my hamstrings, you should really feel them for the 30 seconds. It's kind of up to the individual to find the hamstrings within the movement. Within the position, and also to increase and learn to increase tension to make it as challenging as possible. So the first one I would do here is, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start my back on the floor. I can kind of peel my shoulder blades or my head off the ground a bit here, but I'm going to start here initially because what I want to do, and this is important, I don't want my legs to be straight first up. I don't want my knees to be too bent here. So I'm going to walk my heels away from me a bit here. Now, in this position, my back is slightly arched. I want a flat lumbar spine or lower back. So what I'll tend to do initially is I'll tend to push my back into the floor first. Digging my heels into the ground, by pushing my heels down, that should help me lift my lower back. Now my lower back's marginally off the floor here. I'm not going as high as I can because my back will go into extension. Again, before you come off the ground with your hips, flatten your back first. Trying to maintain this position in the lumbar spine, I'm going to push my heels into the ground, keeping my glutes engaged. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm actively driving my heels down. I'm not just resting in this position, I don't really feel anything right here. It's up to me to create the tension. So again, my back is flat, I'm digging my heels into the floor, and like I'm trying to really squeeze my hamstrings here. I can peel my head off the ground, I can support my head here. I'm digging my heels down. It's almost like I'm trying to drag myself along the ground, but obviously the floor is going to stop any excessive knee bend. Now you might have to walk your heels back and forth a little bit to figure out where you can really feel those hamstrings. But once we're there, we're trying to really squeeze. Now I'm tucking my hips under as well, so there's a slight squeeze of those glutes, but I'm really trying to get into the hamstrings here. You might see some of the soleus working here too along the side of the calf. You might get a co-contraction there, that's okay as well. Again, this can be quite beneficial for runners as well too. Also, I find if I have any kind of anterior knee pain, this can help mitigate that pain a little bit, okay? So again, it's a good accessory piece to have in, but I really want to try and get the point across that folks should find 30 seconds difficult if they're doing this correctly. Now again, a progression from there would be to do a single leg variation. I'm really trying to dig my heels down already and my hamstrings feel like they're going to cramp. Okay, other side again, set my back up. Want to go into a slight posterior tilt with the pelvis, tucking my bum, my hips under, digging my heels down, I'm lifting here. Again, might shorten the lever slightly, going again, and I should feel the back of the hamstrings here. I don't want to let my hips sag, tilt forward and go into extension. I want to try and stay disciplined here as I am pushing those heels down. Sometimes what will happen is folks will tend to be overly conscious of what they're doing with their foot here, whether they're going to be plantar flexing, dorsiflexing, pushing away or coming in. I try and keep the foot neutral if I can, okay? Again, I just want to dig the heels down. So that's the first protocol there. We can either do a double leg, long lever bridge, we can do single leg. Next thing then, as I like to make this a bit more challenging, I'll use a foam roller. Now for this one, what I want to do here, and again, when we get the foam roller, folks always start in too close. Go back to roughly where you would be if you were digging your heel into the floor. But this time, I'm pushing the ball of my foot into the foam roller. So I'm actively pushing down. And by actively pushing down here, that should help lift my lower back and my hips, my tailbone slightly off the floor. This can be a tricky one too, because sometimes I'm pushing down, we do get a lot of calves, and I find any inhibition or injury around my knee, sometimes the calves will tend to light up quicker than the hamstrings, but again, it's just practice. So what we want to try and do here is get the ball of the foot onto that foam roller, like kind of the pedals in a car, you're pumping the gas, pushing the brakes, whatever, you're pushing down. Again, posterior tilt, back is flat. I'm trying to push into that foam roller, and then from there, I'm lifting up, tucking my hips under, my lower back is just floating off the ground. I'm trying to keep my heels lifted as I push down. Feels like my heels are way off the ground here. They probably aren't. I'm trying. But again, those heels might start to drop. I really want to push into that foam roller. I can really feel back here. I'm pushing as hard as I can. Again, we can do single leg progressions, quite challenging. And I always try and keep the weight evenly across the foot or even towards the big toe. I don't want to fall into the outside of the foot. I want to try and push that big toe down. As I'm pushing down, I'm lifting that heel up. So that's the long lever bridge and the foam roller. It's a progression. I think we should probably get comfortable with the standard long lever bridge first. We're pushing into the ground. From there, we can introduce the foam roller. The next level up again, which is quite challenging to do, and I might even get a couple reps out here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my heels on more or less like the top, the apex of the foam roller here. Again, I want to stay disciplined with my pelvis here. So a slight posterior tilt, flattening my back and lifting. Now really slowly keeping tension. We might be towards the outside of the heel initially. I'm going to start pulling the foam roller towards me. Keep my hips fairly level here. As I'm transitioning through mid-foot here, I'm pushing into that foam roller. I'm pushing, coming towards the inside of the foot. Keep the heels up and pushing. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I can really feel here. And again, slowly pushing away while trying to keep pushing into that foam roller. Again, you might need to reset here for a second. Reset the hips, squeeze, tuck under, push down, push, push, keep tension. This is the key. We're trying to keep tension the whole time. I don't want to lose tension here. I can feel my hamstrings really going to cramp already. Pushing away. I might need to reset here for a second. But that's 2 reps. Now my hamstrings aren't particularly strong, but 2 reps is challenging there for me if I really try and stay within the movement and really try and keep tension the whole time. That's the key, is learning to keep, creating to keep tension. Sometimes I see people program 10 or 12 repetitions of this. I would rather program 3, 4 or 5 with just good quality and tension throughout. Again, quality over quantity on these. So we have the standard foam roller, or sorry, should I say we have the standard long lever bridge, digging the heels in. Again, I wouldn't be too overly concerned with the foot right now. If you do feel a lot of calves, just make sure we are trying to stay relaxed through the foot. But I am actively digging into the floor the whole time to create tension here. It's not just kind of finding that shape or that position and just chilling out here. I'm setting up, digging the heels in, and then I'm squeezing, keeping the pelvis tucked under, squeeze through the hips, back is flat, and I'm actively, like I'm clenching a fist, I'm trying to imagine I'm doing the same with my hamstrings, digging into the floor there, okay? 30 seconds, building to there. Once we can do that, we can do multiple sets. We can do single leg variations, we can do the variations on the foam roller, and then we can do the leg curls with the foam roller as well.